And we're live! Magandang hapon ulit, BounceBack Network at NADPOP Network also. Welcome to the second episode of Privacy Fridays, back-to-back with FightBack Cybersecurity. I'm joined today by two of my colleagues, Engels Antonio. Magandang hapon, bro Engels.
Okay. Hi, good afternoon. It's nice to be back.
Oh, thank you for being our speaker during the first episode last week, Engels, and you talk about Cybersecurity 101. Kumusta na? How was it? How was your debut last week in BounceBack?
Oh, okay bro, nakakatuwa. Actually, ang daming feedback bro na nagdumating after noon. And they were really looking forward to this second episode. Talagang ginanahan yata bro.
Tama, salamat to. Kasi again, Engels are being broadcasted to several BounceBack Network Facebook pages, channels, and sa YouTube, along with also NADPOP Facebook groups and pages. Salamat. And then the focus really of Privacy Fridays and FightBack Cybersecurity is to help entrepreneurs to bounce back from the pandemic. And napakahalaga ngayon ng data privacy sa kanang cybersecurity, di ba? So, ipakilala rin natin ang ating pangatlong kasama ngayon. Siya ang speaker natin ngayon. Pero co-host muna siya. Yan, Abet Dela Cruz from PH-CERT.
Hi, good evening to everybody. Medyo na-level up ako ngayon. Speaker na ako, hindi na co-host. For today.
Yes.
Saka maganda to, no? Ito partnership to ng NADPOP saka ng PH-CERT. Again, para ibahagi sa inyo ang mga kaalaman natin sa data privacy saka cybersecurity. Ito ang next topic natin actually, Cybersecurity 102. But bago natin puntahan yan, tingnan muna natin kung ano nangyari last week, di ba? Saka this week, palagi natin ginagawa dito, tinitingnan natin yung Facebook page ni National Privacy Commission at tinitingnan natin talaga kung ano nandun, no? So, salamat again, Chairman Mon, no? So, yan, isi-share ko na. Ayan, nakikita niyo na ba? Sa stream, wala pa. Sandali lang, ha? Add to stream ulit. Ayun! Ito yung pinaka nasa taas, ano? So, this post by NPC says, they're looking for, in the proposed amendments, stronger privacy law. Diba? So, again, yung batas na-pass noong 2012, diba? Magte-10 years na siya next year.
Yes.
So, tama-tama lang i-amend, no? In fact, yung mga maraming circulars na in-issue si NPC to fill in the gap, di ba, ng original law. And then ito kaya isa pa yung paparating na administrative fines, ano? And sabi nga nila, based on the public hearings, i-integrate nila yung administrative fines dito sa amended law. So ito, masaya tong dapat sa tingin ko, bantayan natin tong amendments, no? Baka maganda invite natin yung representatives sa House, saka sa Senate. Actually, doon sa House, nakaka-attend tayo ng hearing. Pero sa Senate, di ko pa nakikita they have tackled this amendment. Again, Engels, Abet, anong tingin nyo dito?
Magandang ma-explain nilang mabuti ano ba yung additional powers na hinihingi nila, no? As always in any law, no? So makita natin kasi when we read, we form our own judgment and thinking. So maganda kung ano yung background ng pag-iisip nila when they ask for that para maunawaan nating mabuti. So yun yung maganda nating marinig from them. And yun nga, I'm sure ang pinakamalaking comments sa NPCs like ang dami-dami yung na-prosecute, wala namang napaparusahan. So I'm assuming that one of those extra powers they needed would be siguro for that purpose.
Tama yan, no? Engels?
Yeah. Oo, alam niyo, natuwa ako dito sa announcement na to kasi let's be honest, no? There are still organizations who have zero compliance and paper compliance. So sana makatulong itong bagong proposed amendments na to para maging mas malakas yung compliance, no? This is for everybody's good actually.
Ayan, buti nakahabol ng ating Godfather of Cybersecurity. Abet, welcome.
Ba yan?
With his new internet connection. Sasabihin mo ba kung sino yung tumulong sa'yo?
Doing fine. Nambulabog lang ako.
Ayan, sabi na nga ba? Imagine mo, ilang linggo tayo naghintay dyan. Di ba? More than 1 month, di ba? Since we went live,
Kaya nga.
Buti na lang. Napanood ba nila yung session natin? Kaya finally, binigyan ka ng ng magandang connection.
Siguro.
Basta daw i-promote yung Yung telco
Oo nga.
niya, libre na yung connection niya.
Imbitahin nga natin Telco na yun na maging guest natin dito. No? Dito, ito
Sige.
pinag-uusapan namin ito yung nasa site, Facebook page ng National Privacy Commission. Ito yung nasa tuktok ngayon, ano? 1 hour ago lang yan. They're pushing for a stronger data privacy law in the amendments.
yes.
Okay. So ano tingin mo? Ayun, nagbigay na kami ng aming viewpoint dito.
Well, dapat nga i-strengthen na yung yung para doon sa compliance para hindi siya pinapansin. Parang marami pa rin nga, yung sabi nga ni Engels, marami pang organizations ang hindi nagko-comply or at the level of just paper compliance, naka-checklist lang sila. No? So kailangan seryosohin natin ito.
So,
Ay, Sam,
definitely.
dagdag ko lang, no? Yung Data Privacy Act kasi, no, and Lito can attest to this, is like almost 2 decades old, Stolites.
So 2012, no?
2012 naman.
No, hindi.
2012
nung
din
na-approve.
napasa. Oo.
Correct. So we hope and pray na hindi ganun katagal yung magiging amendment.
Pero 11 years in the making.
Okay.
Oo. Sabi nga nung friend namin ni Lito na lawyer, there are 2 things you don't want to see. That is how you make sausages and how you make laws. kung may experience niyo yung pinagdaanan ng Data Privacy Act at anti-cybercrime bill.
Crime bill, yeah.
Ay nako po, kanya-kanyang provision, kanya-kanyang susog, kanya-kanyang bawas. So sometimes at the end nawawala yung actual, purpose or meaning nung batas. So hopefully it wouldn't take that long.
Yeah, hopefully nga. Again, imbitahan natin ang mga kongresista, saka mga senador na tumututok dito ngayon, no? Napakahalaga kasi nga ang dami ng development since the IRR was signed on 2016. Magpa 5 years na po ang National Privacy Commission this year. So, ayan, isa na lamang milestone 'yon na gusto nating, di ba? Tingnan natin, I'm sure in 5 years ang dami nilang nagawa, pero tingnan natin kung kumpara sa ibang bansa, kung nasan tayo siguro. Again, madami tayong mga topics na susunod sa mga susunod na episodes, iwan natin yan. Meron pa ito sa website din or sa Facebook page. Ayan. In collaboration between the CICC, yung Cybercrime Investigation Coordinating Center ng DICT, saka ng National Privacy Commission. So maganda yata na nandun na si Yusek Naga sa NPC, kaya nabibridge siya itong mga relasyon na to. Siguro, I don't know who was able to forge this, but again, welcome development, no? Again, dito ikaw naman, anong feedback mo dito?
Wala. Well, out of touch ako dyan sa coordination na yan. No? But of course, NPC is being consulted by a lot of agencies on how to manage the data that they're able to collect and process. And among those is CICC. No?
If you read the press release ito, under the MOA, the CICC will provide capacity building to NPC personnel in the Operation Visual Forensic Laboratory, and then provide NPC resource persons, training programs, modules, and materials for the following topics: techniques, methodology, admissibility, etc., operation, maintenance. So, maganda, talagang magko-collaborate itong dalawang ahensya na to. Abet,
if they can help with the investigation, that's perfect. No? Kasi katulad nga na sabi ni Engels, puro paper compliance. Kasi in an ideal world, kung malaki ang capacity ng NPC, pag nag-submit ka pag nag-register ka, dapat audit di ba? Kasi that's the only way na malaman mo talagang ginagawa. But of course, we know the limitations of manpower, capacity, so hindi nila magagawa. So, kaya malakas loob ng mga non-compliant na nagsasubmit ng paper kasi sasabihin niyan, may mas malalaki pang company kesa sa akin di ba? Wala nga namang unahin pa ako. So any added capacity to help in that direction would be a very, very welcome change, definitely.
Tama. At the same time, di ba, they both know the footprint. Siguro, magsisimula kaya sila sa government agencies? Yung tanong ko
Actually, isang issue din yan sa compliance ng government agencies, lalo na sa LGUs.
Di ba?
Ngayong panahon ng pandemya kasi, kanya-kanyang galaw yung mga LGUs, yung mga city hall, mga mayor, kanya-kanyang galaw yan sa pagkolekta. ng datos. Hindi natin alam kung lahat ba nung LGU sa halimbawa ay may DPO na. Hindi natin alam if they've been properly trained, yung mga ganyan. No? Dito na lamang sa akin sa Pasay, may nilaunch na na app, mag-register daw. Ang tanong ko, may PIA kaya ito? Diba? So,
Sana
parang gusto
tinanong mo.
kong... Hindi, nakita ko lang yung video kanina, no? Kasi may nag-message nga na mag-register. Nakakatawa pa nga yung announcement eh. Mag-register daw sa mobile app, no? Sa FB, sa Facebook nilagay yung announcement. Tapos karugtong nun sabi, kung wala kayong internet, every Friday pwede kayong pumunta dito sa barangay hall. Okay? So, sabi ko, sa FB mo in-announce, paano makakarating sa iba? Di ba? Wala namang kumatok dito sa amin para i-promote nga yung registration sa mobile app.
Same problem, so same challenge, same habit over and over again. Ang nauuna kasi is yung deadline, yung madalian kung kailan malabas yung app, kung kailan, di ba? So again, security and data privacy is always an afterthought.
Yeah.
Di ba? Yun talaga yun, the perennial problem of everything.
Engels, your take on this.
Yeah, pipitas ako dun sa sinabi ni Lito tsaka ni Abet. No? Ang keywords actually dito, collaborate tsaka direction. Mahirap talaga kanya-kanyang sagwan eh. Iba-ibang direction, ano? So we hope that this collaboration will indeed strengthen both organizations, no? Dapat kasi talagang you build on top of each other's strengths, no? Kasi kadalasan tama yung sinasabi, nagkakanya-kanya ngayon tapos parang wala tayong walang nagkukumpas eh. So hopefully makatulong ito. Makatulong siya talaga.
Yung sa press release again, yung kwento din, is that there will be a training transfer. So habang tinitrain ng CACC sa NPC, ititrain din ng NPC ang CACC. So, and we get the best of both worlds. Alam naman natin na magkakambal talagang data privacy saka cybersecurity or infosec, di ba? Yun ang mundo nila. Yun ang term nila, Abet. Okay, so
Tamang-tama, may slide ako for that.
Ayun. Yan, mag-usapan natin yan, So
galing na segue ni Sam eh.
Ito thumbs up to, di ba? Thumbs up talaga to. Sana marami pa, no? Marami pang tumulong dito, like yung mga, NBI has their own cybersecurity, di ba? Security group. PNP also has theirs, di ba? So sana magtulong-tulong talaga, lalo na ngayon, no? Yung pinakita nga ni Engels last week is that mayroong nangyayaring global cyber warfare pala between nations, no? And ang Pilipinas ay nasa top 20 ba, Engels?
24, 24 siya last week.
Ng mga ina-attacking countries in the world. So, again, dapat matakot tayo dun kasi pagka bumagsak ang ating mga information systems, lalo na yung mga utilities natin, baka mawalan tayo ng tubig, kuryente, di ba, etc. Pwedeng, pag na-hack yung mga yan, they can cause havoc in our society. That's why we really have to beef up, our nation's cybersecurity on posture. Ano pa bang news? Tingnan pa natin, ha? So, konti lang hindi masyado. Ito na naman, follow through. Di ba last week sabi ni NPC, may mga nagpapanggap ng mga personnel na NPC. Di ba? Huwag kayong maniwala sa kanila. Ito naman, sinasabi nila, this to inform the public against the use of the NPC logo for unauthorized purposes. Unauthorized meaning, it has come to our attention that several organizations have been using the NPC logo on their website and printed materials as a symbol of compliance with the Data Privacy Act of 2012. Imagine this, diba? Galing talaga ng mga Pinoy, no? Please be informed that such use of NPC logo is strictly prohibited. Yan, all caption.
Sila
na yun naggumagawa ng stamp of approval. Sarili na nila.
Wala pa kayong NPC, no?
Wala pa. Ito sabi, the NPC does not authorize the use of the commission's name as a official symbol for similar purposes, nor does it recognize the validity of compliance in doing so. Again, isi-segue ko lang dun sa PrivSec. Ang ganda nung workshop na yan, di ba? Or yung global conference na yan. It's a global conference, but primarily it was organized out of Europe. So, ito sa London-based group ang gano'n. Apparently, in some countries, meron na sila mga stamp of approval, no, from their respective data privacy. Malamang doon papunta ang NPC, di ba? In the future, hopefully, baka doon sa bagong amendment, sabihin nila yun na part of their mandate is to give a stamp of approval. Ano bang mga agencies ang similarly nagbibigay ng stamp of approval sa mga companies? again, Engels, Abet dito, na pwedeng maging basis nito. Yung BAR ba, yung corporate tax record, is it a stamp of approval sa financial, mo, di ba? Compliance mo, tama, di ba? That's one. Ano po ba?
Yes, yes.
Health, yung sa mga, may restaurant ka, di ba? Kailangan mo ng, ng health clearance, di ba? Ano
Sa
pa?
mga products, yung Bureau Product Standards yan.
Tama. Yung PS mark, yun, meron. So ginagawa talaga ng gobyerno to, nagse-certify talaga sila ng yung quality assurance, di ba? Nagse-certify sila ng compliance, etc. So hindi malayo talaga na si NPC in the future mag-certify ng mga compliant companies. Yun.
Yes.
So pero ngayon, nauuna na yung mga nilalagay na nila. Matindi pa to sa paper compliance, di ba? Engels, Abet, Lito.
Advance mag-isip kasi.
Oo. Digital compliance.
Pagka ganyan, falsification na yan, syempre.
Di ba? Magaling.
Delikado.
Delikado.
Kumustahin naman natin si Arnel Celis. Ito, yan, NADPOP volunteer natin. Hi guys,
Yun.
nice to learn from you. Magandang hapon, Arnel. Mag-guest ka naman dito minsan, ha? Miss ka namin.
Magandang hapon.
Arnel is one of our active NADPOP volunteers. Maraming salamat, Arnel, for helping the organization pro bono. Yan, mayaman na kasi si Arnel pag golf na lang yan. Kaya, thank you for watching, Arnel.
Sana all.
Sana all talaga.
Buti pa siya. How's the backswing?
Yan. Pero magaling. Magaling yan. Okay, ito, nakakatuwa talaga. Tingnan natin, ito din, again, another, kahapon na pumano na si dating Pangulong Noynoy Aquino at nagpugay po ang National Privacy Commission kahapon. Again, sa termino po ni President Pinoy na pirmahan yung Data Privacy Act of 2012. Kaya pasalamat po tayo sa kanya. Sa kanya po nanggaling yung signature na naging batas ang Data Privacy Act.
Anti-cybercrime bill sa kanya rin.
Tama,
yes.
yung twin bill na yun, dalawa magkasunod yan di ba? So
at
again,
saka yung creation ng DICT.
Of
correct.
course.
Yes.
Correct. Oo nga pala.
Dami.
Natenga nga pala yun, dito.
Natenga yun. May mga istorya ako dyan sa mga negotiations dyan.
Yan.
Pero sa private chat na lang daw lalagay ni Lito.
Kala ko isang buong episode na
Again, let's siguro 10 seconds of quiet for the former president. And eternal rest grant unto you, Lord, to President Pinoy. Thank you. Meron pa, ito. Dito sa dito galing sa NPC site, pero ito may isang kaibigan akong nagtanong dito sa bago to kanina lang tong umaga, June 25, 5:20 AM. Na medyo basta limuot itong issue na to pero may denial of service attack daw, DDoS na nangyari sa dalawang alternative media groups, yung Bulatlat saka Alter Media. Mga human rights groups sila, may mga dates silang sinabi doon. And then
at saka sa Karapatan.
Tinuturo nila yung DOST daw nanggaling doon sa Philippine Army. Again, we cannot comment on this one. It's just news, di ba? So kailangan talaga magkaroon ng fact-finding dito. But again, quick comments lang, Engels, Abet, and Dito on why these things continue to happen.
Well, kahapon.
Moment of silence pa rin.
Sige. Go ahead.
I was in another forum yesterday, part ng discussion yan, kasi kahapon pa namin nalaman yung balita na yan. No? Kasi I was with the Southeast Asian Coalition of Freedom of Expression organizations. And siyempre, tungkol yan sa human rights, tungkol yan sa outer media at karapatan. Kaya nakarating kaagad sa amin yung balita. Pinag-uusapan namin yan. There needs to be a pushback because it's, again, action ng lumalabas, it's government infringing on the rights to the freedom of information or expression of groups or individuals. Okay. So yan
That's
yung That's the
Well,
gist, no, na i-issue
pero,
dyan.
pero wala pang official findings di ba? These are just reports Oh, so,
It
yun nga,
was reported by Curium
yung Swedish
of
Digital Forensic
Switzerland.
Group, no?
Yes. Kasi nung naumpisang ididos yung bulatlat at Altermedia, kinonsulta ako. And at that time, yun nga, pumunta sila sa Curium para, yun nga, because that's another rights group yung sa Switzerland. So doon sila dumadaan.
Ito maganda
nakikita
itakal din natin to, di ba? Yung freedom of expression and privacy in cybersecurity in our future episodes.
Yes.
Yeah. Thanks Tito. Sama ka pala dyan So, Abet, anong tingin mo? Gaganito yung
Yun nga, pinag-uusapan natin kanina. Mahirap mag-comment if we don't see yung actual results ng forensics. Cybersecurity, it's so multifaceted na one, anybody and anything can be spoof. So, we don't know. Two, kung sa kanila man galing yung sila man yung source ng denial of service attack, pwede rin namang they are a victim. Kasi baka nalagyan sila ng botnet or bots, no? Na ang known to them, yun yung ginawang signal amplification nung denial of service attack. So there's a lot of ways though. Baka there's a deeper, I don't know, baka sabihin conspiracy theory, no? na sinadyang i-bounce off sa kanila. So we don't know until we really see yung result ng forensics result.
Yeah.
Kailangan talaga because this brings to mind also, remember yung Comileak in 2016. Doon sa kaso kinasuhan ng NBI at ng Comelec si Paul Biteng. Okay. Nung trace nga yung forensics daw, na-trace na may IP address ng NBI. So on that basis, hindi kasi masabi nila kung ginamit ba o hindi. Basta nakita nga dun sa logs, nag-digital forensics and all. Yun yung ikinatalo ng kaso ng NBI against Paul Biteng. So Paul Biteng was acquitted kasi nga, galing pala sa IP ng NBI. Alam naman natin, ang problema dito, alam naman natin na napaka-dynamic din ng assignment ng IP addresses because pag pinakawalan mo na yung IP address na yun, somebody else uses it. Diba? So hindi tayo nakakasiguro nga. Tama si Abet. Until we see that, tapos kailangan ma-pursue talaga yung lead na yun. Talagang doon ba nanggaling?
Correct. Yeah, Engels, comment on this one?
You're also I agree with them. Actually, ang advice dyan, ay pinag-usapan din kasi namin kanina, ang advice dyan is to not have a knee-jerk reaction. Masyado kasing masyadong delikado na tanggapin agad natin yung ganitong mga klaseng reports, no? And for the organizations involved, it's a wake-up call, no? Look closely at your systems, perform the audits as needed, kasi nga, kung nagagamit lang sila, no? Sabi nga ni Abet, kung ginagamit sila for amplification of attacks, then they ought to look at their systems to make sure na ma-clear nila yung name nila. Kasi at the end of the day, optics to Diba? Perception game pa rin So, it's really very complicated. Maganda sanang maklaro agad as soon as possible.
Tama. Sinong government agency dapat ang tumingin dito? In this light, no? Si NBI ba? Si CICC ba? So, si PNP ASG ba? So, ACG? Sino ba? Sino ba dapat?
Cybersecurity Bureau.
Well, pwede rin yung CICC, di ba?
Yes.
Actually.
Actually.
Sana matingnan din nila. And yung mga kaibigan natin sa media, well, okay din ba na ganito yung kanilang reporting? Binabasa ko naman pero kasi mukhang meron ng parang conclusion agad di ba? So, again, yung thank you for reporting this. But again, be very careful in drawing conclusions lang. Marami tayo pang hindi alam just with one report.
Sa tingin ko lumabas yung Curium report, no? And then humingi ng reaction ang reporter sa DOST. Naghihintay pa ng reaction from AFP.
Yeah.
So depende na lang sa pagkakasulat if there's a conclusion reached. And
Again,
nag-deny naman yung DOST. Sinabi nila, nagamit man yung IP address namin, but that does not mean that we were the ones who engaged in it.
Yes.
Tama.
True.
Sige, bantayan lang natin. Tingnan natin yung
Explanation
developments.
lang, no? Kailangan ma-explain ng maayos.
Pero maganda din nga, tama si Engels, I echo that, na we have to help each other. And then that organizations need to be responsible for the protection of their own information systems. Tama-tama to sa topic ni Abet. Meanwhile, si RB, ito may isa sa mga kaibigan natin na humusta. Yan, hi RB.
Uy.
Okay.
RB,
Hello.
Hello!
Good afternoon. Ganda naman ng icon ni RB. Mukhang
Usong-uso yung icon na yan na kina-cartoon yung mukha mo, di ba? Ingat po
again,
kayo, no? Just make sure na save yung application na yun. And hindi na mamalik ng data, no?
That's one way of collecting data pagka inengganyo ka sa mga apps na ganyan o kaya sa games.
Correct.
Yeah, hindi natin alam.
Actually, maganda yun eh. Subtle yung pagkuha nila. It's been your birth date plus the last name of your superhero name. Siyempre, nakuha na yung birth date mo, di ba? Tapos your favorite pet's name and the whatever name of the last thing you ate, nakuha na yung pet name mo. So all of those parameters are actually gamit
security
sa pag-determine.
questions.
Correct ka doon, Sam. So, ingat po tayo sa mga ganyan.
Kaya nga dun sa cybersec discussion the other day din, I was in a forum din na naman. Sinasabi, hindi na enough itong mga security questions or itong mga password. Go, multiple factor authentication.
Yes.
MFA na.
Tama.
Ito pala, yung ating kaibigan
password, dapat wala ng password.
Yeah,
kaya nga eh.
Shoutout ka rin ang kaibigan sa natin, si Bea Mamon, told us that she finally was able to register PhilSys. At ang daming kinuhang data sa kanya. So, ikasama yung iris, ha? So, it's part of the data that was collected by PhilSys. Doon sa kanyang barangay hall nangyari yung collection. So, eto na, mga gentlemen. Wala pa sa inyo kumukuha ng PhilSys, no? ID?
Wala pa daw sa lugar namin.
Nag-register
na ako. Nag-register
Ayan,
na ako.
maganda na i-share natin yung experience natin. No? Dahil ngayon online hindi nag-work eh. So, kailangan magpunta kasi sa site para doon ka kunan ng data. May mga PhilSys personnel naman doon daw na kumuha ng data niya. At maayos naman, saka may social distancing, kaya maganda. Okay, ready na ba tayo kay Abet? 30 minutes in our show. Abet, ayan na. Alis muna kaming tatlo, magkakape muna kami. Pag-uusapan pa muna namin sa backstage, ha?
Nakaingit naman kayo.
Last week si Engels na may pinagkwentuhan namin. Ay, Lito, ikaw daw ang cybersecurity 103 next week since okay na yung Since okay na yung
walang problem.
So, like, sa liwanag na ng video, wala ka ng lag.
Oo nga.
Thank you!
Nakatolis, nakakatawa ka na sa jokes namin on time. Dati na nadidelay ka ng 5 seconds.
So sa next episode, kadugtong nung organization natin, yung pangalan ng telco natin. Baka sakaling gusto nila tayong sponsor.
Baka naman.
Bakit hindi? Tanungin natin.
Mabagal ba yung connection mo dyan, Abet? Di ba? Pang-stream mo lang yan eh, di ba? Kaya yun. Okay, ito po, maraming salamat sa mga updates, no. So again, if you're ready for the talk of our next our speaker for today, Cybersecurity 102, handa niyo po yung mga tanong niyo. At the same time po, we'd like to announce that we're building actually a certification program dito sa mga courses natin sa Privacy Friday saka FightBack Cybersecurity. So darating po 'yan, hintayin niyo lang po. Kasi nga po gusto namin talaga matuto kayo. Hindi lang yung makikinig kayo na huwag nyo kaming i-treat na parang Netflix. Panoorin nyo lang. Okay. Nandito po tayo para matuto lahat. Okay? So, ito po, aming binibigay sa inyo ang aming kaibigang si Abet Dela Cruz, Director ng PH-CERT para, Cybersecurity 102. Yan, siyempre, palakpak lahat. Okay, alis muna kami.
May canned na palakpak.
Abet, screen is yours. Okay.
Okay, docs. Yun. So, good evening, everybody. Thank you for allowing me to invade your your Friday night. Hopefully, may mapulot po tayo rito. No? Engels and Sam and I were discussing earlier, no? Medyo, pag nagsabi tayo ng mga cybersecurity 101, 102, 201, 202, talagang mga fundamentals. No? So, in a way, we're going back to basics. But, since masyadong malawak talaga yung security, it can't be helped that we need to go back sometimes to, foundational topics like definitions, etc. But since, we really want the small and medium industries to benefit from these. So we'll try and focus more. We'll try and focus the topics more to the more practical aspects of it. So let me just move on. Okay. So I just want to revisit yung mga definitions, no? Kasi sometimes we use it interchangeably, like information security, cybersecurity, data privacy. Ano ba yung relasyon ng mga to, no? Well, first of all, information security is a very broad field, no? So information security, allow me to define it for you, is the protection of information and information systems from unauthorized access, unauthorized use, unauthorized disclosure, or disruption, modification, and destruction in order to provide yung tinatawag nating CIA triad. No? Kung nasa information security po kayo, malulunod kayo na palagi minimension ng CIA. Well, it stands for confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Now, inside information security is cybersecurity. So the same protection that information security gives is focused on the cyber realm, or cyber realm or the internet, so to speak. No? Because, cyber is just recently. So yung mga controls that information security provide can also be applied to the cyberspace. No? Kaya nagkaroon ng cybersecurity, and it means that the ability to protect or defend the use of cyberspace from cyber attacks. Okay, so medyo naging specific siya. So on the other hand also, since we're Privacy Friday and FightBack Security, ano naman yung relation ng information security sa data privacy? So ang data privacy is concerned with the proper handling, processing, storage, and usage of personal information. So it's geared more towards you and me. Yung protection ng personal data natin. Now, where does information security comes in? Okay? You have your data privacy, you have your personal identifiable information or personal data, which is another form or just another form of information or data. So, ang nagproprotekta ng data natin or personal data natin is also the same controls that are being espoused by information security. Okay? So, yun po yung relasyon ng tatlo. So, now that we've got that out of the way in terms of definition, babalik lang ako ng konti sa sinasabi kong CIA. No? So, yung palagi nating and malimit nating maririnig, basta information security ang dinidiscuss is yung CIA or the confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Yan po yung aim or goal ng information security. So there are too many texts in this slide, no? So this is a better version. Confidentiality is keeping the data secret, integrity is keeping the data accurate, and availability is keeping it accessible or available, no? So pag sinabi natin confidential, dapat kung sino lang yung pinagbigyan mo or the person you intend to receive the information, yun lang yung makakakita. Integrity is that yung datang pinadala mo or the data you shared, dapat hindi siya mabago, no? Okay? And then availability, of course, no? Dapat anytime na gusto mong i-access yung data is nakukuha mo, no? Kumbaga, palaging online or palaging available. Yan po yung easiest meaning nung CIA natin. So, ano yung pinoprotektahan ng CIA? Meron pong kabaliktaran yan. So, yung CIA protects you from what we call DAD naman, no? DAD. Kanina CIA, ngayon DAD. So, yung confidentiality protects you against disclosure. Okay? Yung integrity protects you against alteration. And then yung availability protects you against destruction or alteration ng data. Or elimination ng data. So yun po yung pinoprotektahan ng CIA. No? So kung binaliktad mo yung CIA, DAD yung lalabas. Okay? Again, very simple topics, very basic topics, but these are the foundation of information security. You know, why there is information security, what's its purpose, anong pinoprotektahan niya, and ano yung goal niya. So, if if you are like our age, no, most of us, at least on the senior portion of the spectrum ng IT, is dati-rati medyo madaling mag-protect, no. Hindi naman madali, but there's a little bit of technicality involved, no. Kung meron kang kailangan mo ng email server, kailangan mo ng web server, kailangan mo ng CRM, kailangan bumili ka ng mga hardware, bumili ka ng software, installan mo to. Tapos yung mga computer sa loob ng office, whether wired or wireless, desktops, mobile, or laptops, they all congregate dito sa tinatawag nating firewall. Okay? Yung firewall is a device, no, not different from what we know, is a device that protects us from the internet, no. Kumbaga, ang firewall yung sumasala ng information. Siya yung nagsasabi kung anong data yung pwedeng lumabas, kung ano yung pwedeng pumasok. So fairly, kapag nasa loob ka ng isang network mo, medyo feeling secure ka na, no? Kasi merong border or merong traffic cop, if you will, na nag-i-scan ng data to protect you from information or selectively allow and disallow information from the internet. So ito po yung mga medyo traditional na setup. No, there's still a lot of this now today. And we wonder nga before, no, if you were to set up a business, kung gustong mong magkaroon ng dissenting IT structure or network, ito yung usually kailangan mong gawin. Now, fast forward, no? Actually, ang dali na mag-setup ng IT ngayon for your business, right? Why? Because of the internet. So lahat po ngayon, hindi na natin halos kailangan ng equipment, ng software, except sa computers natin inside the corporate offices. Especially for small and medium industries, napakalaking tulong po ng internet. Kasi hindi na tayo kailangang matrap, no? Kumbaga sa capital expenditure. Hindi na natin kailangang bumili ng software, ng server, na pagkatapos sa ilang taon is, magiging problema dahil kailangan mo nang magbayad ng warranty, support, updates. So, with now everything going into the internet or the cloud, as we call it, napakadali na. Kasi lahat by subscription na ngayon eh. So, you only pay what you use for a period of time. Kung ayaw mo nang gamitin, kung kahit nalugi yung negosyo mo, walang matitira sa yung hardware or software na kailangan mong i-account for, di ba? So, ganun kaganda po yung the cloud and the services offered by the cloud with respect to the businesses that we are putting up today. So, ngayon, di mo na kailangan ng email server. Mag-subscribe ka na lang. For example, Office 365, yan, or Google Apps. Kung kailangan mo ng website, hindi mo na kailangan ng web server. Pwede kang mag-subscribe sa Wix, di ba? Support system, customer support system. Kung kailangan mo ng customer support system or ticketing system, may Zendesk. Storage, kung kailangan mo ng storage, nandiyan ang Dropbox. Office 365, meron din. Google Drive, meron din. Kung kailangan mo ng project management, merong Asana and all the other software as a service available in the internet. Lahat po puro subscription na lang ngayon. Kung kailangan mo ng CRM, Customer Relationship Management Software, nandiyan ang Salesforce and other cheaper alternatives. No? Depende sa capacity to pay. So it is so easy to set up your IT requirements, your IT needs that will support your business today. Okay? So yan po yung scenario ngayon. But what does that entail? So ibig sabihin po niyan, medyo na-move yung area of protection na kailangan natin gawin. If you recall sa kaninang slide, there's a firewall, you're inside the internal network, medyo madaling protektahan yung mga nasa loob. Pero ngayon po, it's become borderless. No? So with the advent lalo nung pandemic, most institutions, most companies, halos lahat have been forced to do remote working, no? Or work from home, as we call it, or work from anywhere actually would be the right term. Because of this, yung perimeter has disappeared. The firewall has disappeared. Okay? So, saan ngayon yung protection na kailangan natin gawin? It now is being pushed back to the endpoint. Pag sinabi po nating endpoint, is being pushed back to the computers, the laptops, the phones that you have. So dapat dun pa lang, ample na yung protection natin to avoid other attacks, incidents, compromises, or whatever that threatens yung application or yung device. So that's why we're gonna segue into ano ba yung mga common attacks that are prevalent dito sa mga end devices na to, no? Unang-una po, I would like to introduce you to the term malware. Kung hindi nyo pa naririnig, malware is short for malicious software. Again, kung kaedad nyo po ako, ang unang term na natutunan nyo before is virus. Okay? So virus, no? Yun yung alam natin. Pero actually, in the greater scheme of things with regards to malicious software, malware po ngayon yung generic term. So ano-ano yung mga malware? I-describe ko po isa-isa. Yung malware can be any one of these, no? One, adware or advertising supported software. Usually hindi naman too harmful, pero para kumita yung mga application na dina-download nyo, nagpa-flash sila ng mga advertisement, okay? So bali adverts or advertisement yung revenue stream nila, kaya adware ang tawag. Ngayon, merong spyware. Spyware, eto medyo problematic kasi nire-record yung lahat yung ginagawa. Pwede siyang mag-capture ng mga tinatype mo sa keyboard, mag-capture ng screen, tapos i-harvest niya to. So makukuha niya yung information mo. So meron ding tinatawag na Trojan. Ang Trojan, as the name implies, the Trojan horse, these are fake na software. Disguise siya as normal software, no? And usually it works. Pero what you don't know is behind the scene, meron na siyang ginagawang iba. Like kinukuha ng information mo, baka kinokopya yung files mo sa hard disk, baka naglalagay ng Trojan, you won't know. So kaya siya tawag na Trojan, it's because it's a fake software. Next is yung robotic software or bots, okay? Ito yung partly na discuss namin kanina to, no? Kung may cyber attack. Yung bots kasi is that you might not know it, pero yung computer mo was implanted by a software called a bot. So pag may bot, merong tinatawag dyan na command and control center. No? May nagko-command dyan. So hindi mo alam yung parang computer mo, laptop mo is already a bot, no? Or what we also call as a zombie computer. So without knowing, you're actually participating in a bigger network. No? Katulad nga kanina, you can use the command and control center, yung pinaka-boss ng mga bots, sasabihin niya sa mga na-infect niya na mayroong bots, bombard this target with data. Ayan. So, denial of service ang attack niya. Or, sometimes, magpapadala ako ng mga phishing email, padala niyo itong email na to. Ayan. Or, mag-advertise ako ng product. Ayan. Uutusan niya yung mga bots to send all those emails. So yun po yung bot. So and because of the type of connection we have today, no, we call it we are an always online generation. DSL always online, mobile phones always online. You may not know it because you don't check or it's really a good program. The bots can already be in your systems, no. Okay, kaya siya tawag na bots. Now, there's also remote access software, no, what we call rootkit. Ito naman, pag nalagay sa inyo, pwedeng kontrolin yung computer nyo or device nyo. There's also the worm, which is a delivery disruptor software. So, ang ginagawa ng worm, because yung mga software po binibili natin, gawa rin ng tao yan. So, may mga flaws yan. Siyempre, hindi yan perfect. So, ina-exploit nila yon, and then from that, nakakagawa sila ng ibang activity. Pwede silang maglagay ng payload, meaning yung software na, let's say, pang-copy ng files mo. Yan, pwede niyang lagay yon. No? So, that's what a worm does. There's also bugs, of course. Bugs is yung mga programming mistakes. Okay? Mga programming mistakes, and this can be taken advantage of by the more knowledgeable people, and then use it to attack a computer or computer system. And then, of course, we have yung sikat, no? Yung kilalang-kilala natin since the onset of information security is viruses. What separates viruses from the rest of this? Ang virus has the unique capability to replicate itself. Meaning, pwede kong ikalat kopyahin yung sarili ko sa different computers. Kaya siya tinawag na virus. So pag sinabing virus, yun ang number one feature niya. I should call it a feature, but number one characteristic is yung pwede niya ikalat yung sarili niya sa iba't ibang devices. Okay? So yan po yung cast of characters ng malicious software or what we term as malware. Ayan. So nadagdagan na naman yung bokabularyo natin. No? So when somebody says malware, teka, ano yung malware? Iba ba yun sa virus? So pwede nyo nang sabihin, hindi. Ang virus is just one type of malware. Okay? So meron akong gustong i-special mention na na malware, no? And this is ransomware. Now, why do we the special mention for ransomware? No, kasi ito yung madalas mangyari ngayon. It caused several disruptions to major industries, banks, education, utilities, no? Some of them were forced to stop because of ransomware. So what is ransomware? From the name itself, ransom, di ba? Pag nakidnap ka, para makuha mo yung nakidnap, kailangan magbayad ka ng ransom. Ganun po yun. Ganun kasimple lang yun. So this time, it's software. So paano sila nangingidnap? Ang kinikidnap nila, yung data or yung computer. So ang gagawin nila, because of encryption, ang encryption po kasi, pwede yung how do you call this? I-transform yung data into something na hindi mababasa unless meron ka tinatawag na decryption key. So it works two ways, so two directions, encryption and decryption. So pag nakuha nila yung data mo, na-access nila yung system mo, i-encrypt nila yan. Tapos yung decryption key, tatago nila. So ngayon, i-email ka, pag hindi ka nagbayad, hindi ko bibigay sa iyo yung decryption key. Yan. So, kung importante yung mga files mo, importante sa business yung files mo, o kaya mga pinagkakainga-ingatan mong picture, minsan mag-iisip ka, babayaran ko ba o hindi? Di ba? So, yun yung ransomware. They hold your data or information for ransom. Okay, ransom. So, sige, paano ako magbabayad? Well, hindi ka magbabayarin ng cash. Hindi ka pagde-deposit sa bangko kasi lahat yan nate-trace. So, ang monetary exchange, ang remuneration for the ransom is in a current digital currency we call Bitcoin. Okay, that's the subject of a different discussion. So, yung Bitcoin is kailangan bilhin mo to sa internet, no? And today, if you see the slide right here, 1 Bitcoin today in Philippine peso is 1,657,714.12 pesos. Okay, 1 Bitcoin. So normally, they would ask a fraction of a Bitcoin. Okay, so yan yung kailangan pambayad ng ransom. So, nakidnap yung data mo, nagbayad ka ng ransom, ano pa yung mga kailangan mong malaman? Sometimes, and para mapabilis yung bayad nila, ang gagawin nila, lalagyan ka ng deadline. So pag hindi ka nagbayad ng ganitong oras or ng ganitong date, one, i-expose ko yung data mo. Two, this was also discussed by Engels last time, no, sa 101, Cybersecurity 101. Much worse is, pag hindi ka nagbayad ng ganitong oras, portions ng data mo yung either di-destroy nila or expose nila. So, you know, if you watch a lot of movies like me, normally, di ba, pag gano'n may hostage, pag hindi kayo nagbayad ng ransom, papatay ako ng isa. Di ba? So parang gano'n rin yung nangyayari. Pag hindi ka nagbayad ng ransom at this specific point in time, magre-release siya ng part ng data mo to the public or sisirain nila yung part of data mo. Okay, so yun po yung modus, kumbaga, ng mga nagra-ransomware. So it's really very criminal in nature. No? So, sige, nagbayad na ako ng ransom. Ito pa yung hindi gaano maganda. Sometimes, or most of the time actually, I think the percentage is higher na wala namang guarantee na madidecrypt yung data mo. So talagang medyo sugal talaga siya. No? So depende kung gaano kagaling or gaano ka-sincere yung kidnapper ng data mo, mababalik yung data mo. Sometimes naman, hindi lahat ng data na re-recover. So medyo hit or miss rin. Pero you know, what choice do you have for such a situation na yung data mo is already being held ransom and mawawala unti-unti, di ba? So it kind of leaves you in a desperate situation. So we understand, you know, a lot of people would want to pay it just to get it over with. So how do I get these things? How do I get malware? Paano ba ako na-infect? Ito yung mga common. One is through external storage. Naglagay ka ng USB from a friend or from somebody and then meron palang virus or malware yon. Okay? Yan yung mga one of the ways that you can get this. Iba pa hong modus, no? And this is really reality. Ang ibang mga tao or ibang mga hackers sadyang nag-iiwan ng mga USB kung saan-saan. So tayo naman, ba? Libreng USB. Gamitin ko nga. Saksak sa PC mo, hindi mo alam zombie or bots ka na pala or na-ransomware na yung laptop or computer mo. Kaya mag-ingat po tayo sa mga USB na nakikita natin kung saan-saan. No? Baka mamaya planted yan. Okay? So the other thing is visiting websites. Yes, may mga website na pag pinuntahan mo, baka ma-infect ka. But it is also dependent, no, sa operating system mo or sa browser na gamit mo. Lalo na kung luma na yung operating system mo, Windows XP pa pala, hindi ka nag-upgrade ng OS or hindi ka nag-upgrade ng browsers, malaki yung possibility na pagpunta mo sa mga websites na to, malagyan ka ng Trojan or malagyan ka ng malware, malagyan ka ng ransomware, and any one of those is a big possibility. Okay? Kaya we always say, updating your software is paramount, is probably the first things you need to do to defend yourself. And then, another possibility on how to get yung malware is by opening email attachments. Ayan, okay. So, depende naman kung ano yung topic, we open email attachments. Sometimes, akala natin talagang legitimate file siya, PDF file, Word file, or JPEG or image file. Pero ang totoo po ay hindi pala. So, pwedeng legit, pero sometimes, like what we experience, sa loob ng PDF file, talagang PDF file siya. Pero sa loob ng PDF file, may nakasulat na link. Nakalagay doon, to get more information about this file, click this. Pag click mo yun, wala na. Okay? Yari na. So, you know, people like this are very, very creative. They will play around with your head, you know, confuse you, do all sorts of techniques, even social engineering, which we will have a slide later or a bullet later, to confuse you, convince you, trick you into clicking a link, either downloading a file, going to a website. Okay? So, kailangan po talaga we should have a keen eye and then alert tayo palagi. We'll discuss that in the next slides. Or sometimes, okay, doing nothing. This is true. Sometimes where you're in a network, but mostly in a corporate setup, or in a network environment, kung saan local area network po yung mga computer natin. Pag infected yung iba, pwedeng kahit wala kang ginagawa, ma-infect ka rin. So sometimes even doing nothing, depending on your location and situation, pwede ka rin ma-infect ng malware. So, the next naman is yung social engineering. Again, eto. So, social engineering is the psychological manipulation of people into performing actions or divulging confidential information. So, gagawin nila, they will play on your emotions. You know, people are, you know, emotional by nature. So, with that, they will use this to trick you, confuse you, or make you do something. No? So, stages of a social engineering attack consists of 1, syempre, selecting the victim. 2, medyo nire-research ka rin yan, no? Researching the victim. 4, exploit yung relationship that they have created. And 3, develop the relationship. And then, after that, they execute nila yung plano nila. Okay? So, marami na tayong naririnig na ing yung dulo pagdating sa security, no? So, merong phishing, may whaling, may farming, may vishing, may smishing. So, parang dami ho ng ing na yan. No? So, subukan ko pong i-discuss isa-isa, no? So, bakit ba tinawag na phishing in the first place, no? Doon nagsimula yung mga ing attacks na yan. So, phishing is fooling or tricking you into revealing sensitive information such as your username and password, personal information, credit card details, by disguising oneself as trusted entity either in an electronic conversation, pwedeng email, or pwedeng voice rin, and then it lures the target, it lures you using a sense of urgency. Ano po maganda example dyan? Para ka nabudol-budol. Yun. Gagawin nila mataranta ka para makapag, you know, hindi ka na mag-isip na baka fake to o hindi. Pag nataranta ka na, they played on your emotions, they will trick you into getting the information that they want. So, if we look at this picture here, no, again, it's a guy doing fishing in a lake. So, let's go fishing. Ikaw yung fish. So, yung bait lure, okay, yung pain nila, yan, sa Tagalog, yung pain nila is either a message or a voicemail or whatever, yun yung gagamitan nila para painan yung biktima, yung fish, which is you. And, you know, at the end of the line, the fisherman is the hacker. No? Kaya tawag nila fishing. Okay? So, it's a play on the word fishing. Instead of using an F, ginawang PH. So, maraming klaseng fishing. Ayan. May tinatawag tayong spear fishing. So, spear fishing is, you know, parang sibat, no? So, it's a type of fishing which targets very specific organizations or individuals. Ayan. Medyo malaki po payback pag spear fishing. Kasi, they will case the establishment, pag-aaralan nila yung proseso, pag-aaralan nila yung mga tao, pag-aaralan nila yung mga transaction. And we have come across a lot of cases like this, where there are email conversations between, for example, the company and a supplier. So, mahaba pong email thread yan. So, hindi mo papapansin sa gitna, biglang sisingit yung mag-fishing, no? Or yung spear fishing. Tapos, malalaman nila yung information and then they will pursue their, you know, nefarious goals. So, whaling, a type of fishing which involves but focuses on high-value targets. So, kaya nga whale, dahil high-value target, meaning mas malaki yung payback, kaya whaling ang tawag. Kaya nga, big fishes is a whale, right? Okay. Now, the other one is farming. So, farming naman is using malicious code or malware to maliciously divert or misdirect you to fraudulent websites, no? So, parang it's phishing pero this time walang pain. Niloloko ka lang talaga. So, again, example, and I'm sure you probably heard of this, is yung mga website na fake, di ba? May website na fake, ano, kamukha ng original website, no? Kaya yon, that's an example of farming. Now, vishing, on the other hand, is scamming using voice calls. Kaya siya V, voice, phishing, okay? Again, from experience po, this is first-hand experience, I have a friend. Tinawagan siya sa cellphone. Oh, miss, ganito. Yung credit card hold you now is being used to buy a computer somewhere in this country. Taranta siya. So, up to the point na hinihinga na siya ng OTP phone number, binigay niya. Kasi ang sabi sa kanya, para mapigilan na natin ngayon to, ito yung amount, no, $10,000, ganun. So again, they're using a bit of social engineering and then halong takot. So hindi na siya nakapag-isip mabuti. Okay, her emotions got the best of her, so to speak. So in short, na-scam siya. Okay, so it's really, really important to keep a very level-headed mindset when using these, when you encounter these things. We know mahirap, but at least if you hear this lecture now, you will be conscious, and we'll give you tips later as well. And lastly, the last type of phishing is smishing. So smishing is coming using mobile short messaging system or SMS. So ito yung mga scam using text. Pinoy, alam na natin to. Na-penalize yung phone mo for exceeding your data cap. Kailangan magpadala ka ng ganitong message sa ganitong number para mawala yung yung hold or yung whatever, okay? So yung pala nagpapadala ka na ng load, okay? So alam na natin lahat yan, and hopefully because of the experiences that we had, alam na rin natin na peki yung mga yon, okay? So which brings me almost to the final slide. How do we prevent all of this? Or anong dapat natin gawin? So I've compiled some. This will not be exhaustive kasi marami pa. I'm sure I've missed some. And I call it the cybersecurity hygiene list. Okay? May dalawa to, no? The ones we can do technical and the ones that involve being practical or logical, so to speak. So sa technical cybersecurity hygiene list, one is always update your software. Na-mention ko na to earlier. Your antivirus, your operating system and applications, whenever possible and whenever practical, please update them. Okay? Kasi when you update them, nawawala yung mga vulnerabilities, nawawala yung mga bugs, so bumababa yung chance na ma-attack or ma-exploit yung software. 2, install anti-malware software, again, as much as possible. Alam na natin yun. 3, limit know who uses your device. Ayan. Hindi natin dapat pinapahiram yung device natin, or if it's a office computer or a public computer, dapat secured yung mga credentials natin. No? Dapat tayo lang nakakaalam. So, the next number 4 is use security features when available. Okay. Medyo mahirap. Kasi sometimes, we have this saying, more security equals less efficiency. Kasi habang nagdadagdag ka ng security, medyo umihirap yung proseso ng pag-access ng something. But again, it's a trade-off, no? And if you get my advice, it's worth it. Okay na matagalan ka, marami kang lagay, basta secured yung device mo. So use security features when available. Hindi lang po sa computers or laptops, pati sa cellphones, no? Gamitin nyo lahat ng security features na meron dyan. Nilagay yan for a reason. And that's why we need to use all of them. Examples, multi-factor authentication. When we say multi-factor, authentication na hindi lang username and password. It has to be something else. So in our phones and newer devices, face recognition, yan. Biometrics, OTP, yan. Those are examples of multi-factor authentication. Now, if you're like me, you're very conscious about your password pero marami kayo na-access, hindi naman maganda na pare-pareho yung username and password mo sa lahat. So sasabihin mo, ang hirap namang i-memorize no? Halimbawa, 10 yung pinupuntahan ko website. Alangan namang iba-iba yun. No? Well, that's true. That's why meron tayong tinatawag na password managers. So yung password managers will keep track of your username and passwords, and you only need one set of password and username to access yung password manager. Okay? Para sa mga makakalimutin na tulad ko. So also there are personal firewalls, there are encryption systems, yung mga bagong phones ngayon, tinatanong na kung gusto mo encrypt yung data. Encryption really is your last line of defense. Kung manakaw yung laptop mo, manakaw yung phone mo, if you have enabled encryption, kahit na mabuksan nila yan, hindi nila makikita or maiintindihan kung ano yung data na nandun sa loob. Okay? Again, biometrics is an example of multi-factor authentication. If possible, subscribe or practical, subscribe or use a VPN service. Ano po yung VPN service? So this is a service that actually encrypts yung communication link mo. Okay? So when you're going to a website, walang makakabasa ng traffic mo. No? Kaya siya tinawag na VPN or Virtual Private Network. Meron pong mga libreng VPN, meron din mga paid na VPN. So kung practical po and okay lang, please use a VPN. So this also prevents snooping from other entities, no? Kahit na sino hindi makikita yung traffic nyo. So use a VPN service. 5, turn off location services when not needed. Yung pong location services nyo, by using GPS, napipinpoint kung nasaan kayo. And hindi lang hutog ginagamit. Well, kailangan gamitin po ng mga Grab, ng mga services na kailangan yung location. So, don't turn it on by default. Pwede nyo namang gawin na turn it on while using the application. Okay? Don't leave it on by default. Also, when you take a picture and you post a picture, tapos naka-on yung location services nyo, nilalagay po din sa picture yung location, time, and date ng picture. So, unknowingly, nag-post ka doon ng innocuous, picture ng pagkain or kinain mo for lunch, nakalagay na doon yung information na yun. So, please, do not use turn off yung location services pag hindi naman kailangan. Okay? So, that's the technical side of things. Now, on the practical side of things, the logical side of things, be informed. Wala pong tatalo sa awareness. No? Yan yung sinasabi namin before ni Engels and ni Sam. No? Palaging pag-aralan or maging aware. How do we be aware? May kanya-kanya pong paraan. No? May blogs, may news, may websites. Ako po, ang pinaka-paborito ko, tweets or Twitter. Ang ginagawa ko, nagsasubscribe ako sa mga information security channels or mga information security personnel ng mga tao. And then, nalalaman ko agad kung ano yung mga latest, kung ano man yung mga hacks, anong mga bagong vulnerabilities, yan. So, Twitter po is your friend. 2, learn to spot fakes. Ayan, medyo dito kailangan yung talasan yung paningin nyo. How do you spot fakes? 1, spelling, okay? Normally, mali yung mga spelling ng hackers. And of course, grammar, no? Normally, pangit yung pagka-English or pagka-compose ng mga sentences. Hindi ko naman sinasabi na, everything is perfect, pero it's just a clue para malaman mo or magduda ka kung talagang totoo o hindi, legitimate or not, yung message na natatanggap mo. B, different characters. Ayan. When we read something kasi, pag merong konting alteration, our brain actually automatically corrects it. No? Kaya sometimes, for example, letter A, pinalitan niya ng Cyrillic symbol na A, yung A na may 2 dot. No? Pag binasa mo yun ng mabilis, hindi na papasok sa isip mo na hindi ito letter A. Di ba? Or sometimes, pinalitan ng number, pinalitan ng domain, no? Instead na .com, .net, or .biz yung nilagay, hindi mo mapapansin. No? Kaya dapat we should be very wary of changes, no? In the characters, especially in the URLs, as in number C, yung check the URL or internet address. Also, you must check the email senders, okay? Kung talagang tama yung, kung talagang it's the sender or the actual person that's sending you the email. You can verify, okay, or you can check on the email address mismo, pwede mong ilagay yung mouse mo over the email, lalabas doon. Sometimes kasi pwedeng i-display na iba sa actual email, no? So parang nakatago siyang gano'n. So when you put your mouse over the email address, lalabas yung totoong email sa taas, okay? So please, you can check all of those using those tips. Lastly, okay, hindi pa pala last. So, number 3, common sense. Pag libre, delikado po. Okay? Most of the times, pag libre, hindi totoo. Okay? 1, that's a red flag. Pag libre, be wary. Tapos, 2, or letter B, when in doubt, pag meron kang kaba or meron kang duda sa sarili mo, contact the source. Okay? Kung hindi naman po emergency or hindi nagmamadali, please find the time to contact the source. Kung any amount, any tinge of doubt that you have, any feeling in your stomach you have, please contact the source. Number 4, do not run unknown software. Okay? Kung hindi nyo po alam yung software, huwag nyo patakbuhin. Kung gusto nyo mag-experiment, sana meron, well, most, if not, no, kung meron mga ibang PC na pwedeng pag-testingan, gawin nyo po. Pero as much as possible, kung hindi nyo kilala yung software, or you can ask other people, you can check the websites, you can get more information about the software and find out if it's legitimate or not. No, sometimes, mga Trojans po yung mga software na yan. 5, avoid shady websites. Yung mga, websites na, kung baga, on the fringes, no, yan. You try and avoid them. Number 6, scan all external media. Wag basta-basta saksak ng USB, ng hard drive sa devices nyo. Okay? Please scan them. Yung modern antivirus or anti-malware software ngayon, automatic po pwede nyo iset. Pag naglagay kayo ng USB or hard drive, i-scan na nila kagad. Okay? So, scan all external media. 7, okay, pag meron pong mga email kayong natanggap or any other thing na doubtful kayo, you can always check the internet. There are popular websites that actually verifies yung mga ganong klaseng scam. In fact, kung nakakita po ako ng email, kokopyahin ko lang yung text, paste ko sa Google, lalabas na kung scam siya talaga o hindi. Pati yung history, anong pinagsimulan. So the internet is again your friend, or specifically Google is your friend when it comes to testing or checking the internet for scams. Number 8, last, limit exposing yourself on the internet. Well, of course, the lesser data you put out there, the lesser chances of getting scammed, the lesser personal data, the lesser information. Nung po kapanahon namin, nung nagsimula ang internet, ang rule namin was never put a picture of you in the internet. Well, you know where that went now, di ba? So we put pictures of everything. So try at least to limit your exposing yourself in the internet, especially personal information or anything that will give away your identity, your location, anything else that's very personal to you. Try limiting it yourself. Try limiting exposing it, those data, those type information in the internet. So we have this saying, no, it's not if you're going to get hacked, no, it's when and how severe. So hopefully, even if we get hacked, our device gets compromised, hindi ganun ka-severe, because we put safeguards that will, if not outright prevent it, mitigate yung effect of breaches or attacks or compromises in our devices. I have here a website that I've been using for a while. The owner of the website is Microsoft guys, very well known in the security circles. Merong website called https have I been pwned pwned.com. Yung username and password nyo, or even email address lang, no? Lagay nyo yung email address nyo dyan, and then check nyo yung database niya for all the known recorded databases na na-compromise. So sasabihin niya sa'yo, your email might be compromised. So pag sinabing gano'n sa inyo, time to change your email. So it's a very, very helpful tool. So try and use it. So to check yung mga email nyo, kung some of them are already compromised or might be compromised or was part of a leak compromised data that's, exposed in the internet. So remember po the link, though. Troy Hunt, yes. Troy Hunt is the name of the guy who manages this website. And, with that, I end my Cybersecurity 102. Hopefully, you've learned some lessons, a little bit of the basics, a little bit of prevention, a little bit of techniques from what we have presented to you today. Okay? And with that, I'd like to bring it back to Sam and Engels. You guys there?
Thank you, Abet. Dito kami. Nakikinig kami sa'yo, syempre. No? So, ganda naman ng presentation mo. Si Engels, nandiyan na rin pala. Tama-tama. Okay. So,
hirap pala mag-present.
Oo nga, sakto. Building up on what Engels presented, di ba, yung sa 101. Lito Aberia, alam mo na yung 103 mo, ha? So, something new that Engels and Abet did not present, no? Tama-tama yung mga tips mo, Abet, lalo sa mga MSMEs natin sa BounceBack Network. Pati na rin sa mga data protection officers natin sa NADPOP. Na, bisa kasi nakakalimutan talaga natin yung mga basics, di ba? May nakita kang shiny new USB dyan na parang Ferrari pa yung forma, di ba? So, yun pala.
Uy, 1 terabyte ng USB.
Oo,
Swerte.
di ba? Oo, tama-tama yun, no? Pero yan si Lito, anong tingin mo sa inaanak mo? Godfather ka so mga inaanak mo si Angel sa kasi Abet Oh.
20 taon nang mahigit yan sa cybersecurity, information security practice.
Oo.
No? It's comprehensive. Well, yung take nga niya, itong ating 102, magandang practical suggestions talaga on how you can protect yourself. So, kailangan matutunan talaga yung self-protection, defense.
And natuwa nga ito yan si Arnel talaga binantayan yung talk mo. Thanks for sharing your knowledge, Abet, no?
Thank you sa pagtiyaga, Sir Arnel.
Ito rin. Also si EACG, very helpful and informative. Maraming salamat also for staying, Saka yung mga kapanood ng replay, ayun, pinost natin yung we can post again yung how to become a member or how to volunteer sa CC, So i-flash lang natin. Again, ito, send an email, ayan, info, tama ba? Teka, ayaw lumabas
Tama.
info@cc.
At PH-CERT.cc.
info@ph-cert.cc. Tama-tama yan, di ba? So, padala nyo ng email nyo dyan para kung may tanong pa kayo, nakaragdagan tanong. Kasi lalo na ngayon, di ba? Ang hirap actually ma-hack, no? Lalo na kung yung online business mo, nandun sa mga pinakita ni Abet, yung iba doon, mga libreng online services, di ba? Abet, no? Sometimes, kailangan mo ng identity when you access those, di ba? And most of the time, pare-pareho yung password mo. Di ba?
Parang ang hirap kaya mag-memorize, di ba?
Oo, tama. Yun.
Dagdagan natin ng isang tip dun sa practical side.
Kasi
kung libre, dangerous daw. Kailangan i-assess mo rin yung messages na tatanggap mo. If it's too good to be, it's too good to be true.
Tama. Oo.
If it's too good. Nanalo ka ng $1 million. Blah, blah, blah.
Yes.
Ang dami yung dumarating yun
Para makuha mo yung $1 million, mag-deposit ka muna ng $5,000.
Modern Nigerian scam.
Tama yun talaga.
Daming kumakagat dyan.
Oy, i-promote nyo naman yung paparating niya na training sa PCS, di ba? So, meron kayong binubuong cybersecurity course doon So, ano lang status ng yan? Wala si Titos ngayon malapit na ba? Malapit ng...
It will start in August.
Sa August? Okay.
August, no?
Ghost month yun, kayo talaga. Diba? Wala naman kayong Chinese blood, no?
Superstitious.
Hindi. So, again, yung mga naniniwala sa ghost month, baka di mag-enroll sa inyo. Yun lang.
Well, it will run through several weekends starting August hanggang September siguro. InfoSec, Information Security, it's paving the way for certification kung gusto mo. Kasi napakamahal talaga ng international certification. It's lalo na yung mga review, no?
Correct.
So napakamahal. So PCS is seeking to introduce nga yung path to certification sa security practice. Okay? So at the end of each session, may exam tayo, no, Abet? Tapos yung kabuuan, may exam din. Kung hindi ka makapasa sa exam, magbibigay naman ng certificate of attendance. No? So and then you can try on the next run. Doon sa security course.
Mukhang masyado mahigpit yan. Pero anong tingin nyo doon sa May nakikita ko ng mga cybersecurity courses, 12 lessons, etc. Used to be $1,500, now only $59. Diba?
Nag-sign up ako dyan. Yung iba totoo naman. Yung iba totoo naman kasi talagang nandun yung mga materials. The thing with that is that syempre, ang kalaban mo dyan, sarili mo.
Oo.
You have to go through yung mahabang lecture, di ba? Or read all the documentation. You know, depende, no? Ewan ko sa inyong tatlo, pero kasi ko pag naka-second page na ako, inaantok na ako. So, ang hirap pag walang interaction or something, di ba? Kaya...
alam ko nang bakit. Kasi gusto ni Abet, yung TikTok, doon siya nag-aaral. Naising videos lang, di ba? Si Engels actually, yung Bluepoint Foundation has been also delivering cybersecurity courses. 22 years na sila. So, Engels, ano yung mga paparating na klase natin sa Bluepoint Foundation?
Yeah, ang primary na focus kasi ng foundation is Linux Linux and open source. Up to now, okay pa rin kasi infrastructure no? Ang parang building block, kumbaga. Pero may paparating na cybersecurity din. Hopefully, mangyari siya by September. Pagkatapos naman nung sa PH-CERT, tsaka sa ano.
Sakto. Pagka hindi kayo pumasa doon kay Abet.
Pinag-usapan namin yan.
Sunod-sunod tayo.
Tama.
Let's build on top of each other.
Yung ating partner Enderan College is offering another batch of classes. Bukas dapat may exam yung previous batch, but we postponed it to July 3. So send email ito. Please email si Manji at NADPOP Academy for NADPOP training programs. We may actually we're talking to PCS right now. We may second yung certification programs yung dalawa. Total honorary members na yung kayo Abet and Lito ng NADPOP diba? So for life, diba? Yung so yan.
Member emeritus.
Kaya lang iba yung godfather ng data privacy sa NADPOP, si Don Di Mapa yun. So
of course.
Yun ang counterpart ni Lito sa cybersecurity. Ninong. Si Don Di kasi daming termination talaga So kaya ang dami ng inaanak na ng mga DPOs sa atin. Okay, ito malapit na. Sige, go ahead Abet, go ahead.
Just came into mind, dadagdag ko lang. Yung kasing mga topics dun sa PCS training ng information security, wala pong tapon yun. No? Lahat ng topics dun magagamit nyo to other certifications na gusto nyo kunin. Hindi ko na masabi exactly because of copyrights and everything. Pero wala po siyang tapon. No? The same information, the same topics, the same knowledge you can use to pass certain certifications.
Tama. Kasama dyan yung ethical hacking, di ba?
Wala. Meron din. May part. Yes.
Yan, maganda yan. So, at least looking forward to that. Siguro in the next succeeding episodes natin, baka isa lang natin si Edison, yung presidente ng PCS, para may kwento niya sa atin kung ano yung gagawin. Okay, we're 5 minutes to our 1.5 hour mark. Again, palagi naman tayo 1.5 hours dito. Maraming salamat again, those of you stayed sa live program. And those of you are going to watch this on replay, ang dami tayong mapupulot na aral dun sa pinesent ni Abet. And then don't miss also, you can watch also yung replay ng 101 ni Engels. And next week, 103. Tingnan naman natin with the Godfather. Ito na. So, tatayin lahat ni Gate Oberia.
201 sa college is 101, 102, 201, 202.
So, super advanced na yan. Ano ba dito? 103 ba o 201 ang ipepresent mo?
Yan ba gusto nyo? How to protect against surveillance?
Hindi. Iba yung audience natin. MSMEs ang audience natin dito. So, MSMEs yan. So, something that will, our entrepreneurs will be able to use in their line of work, pati ang ating mga data protection officers. Yun. How to protect their businesses, how to protect their information systems that manage personal information. Yung siguro yung sa 103.
Siguro yung diniscuss natin kasi so far are more on the technical side, di ba? So, baka gusto nyo management side.
Pwede, maganda yan.
Okay yan.
Sige. Yun ang
correct.
Yes. Yung 103 natin. Yan, ako yan. Alam nyo na yung topic ni Godfather Don Lito Averia. So, for next week, Cybersecurity 103. Yan. For management, Tama-tama. Kasi nga naman, gagastos ka talaga di ba? In order for you to protect your information system.
Kumbaga, cybersecurity for leaders.
Yan.
Pwede yan.
Okay yan.
No?
Sige na 103, yan na. O, gagawin ko na yung poster, ha? I-post natin. Saka na yung surveillance dito. Saka na yun. Sa mga level 300 na yata yun eh.
Ano ba yung
surveillance and how to cover your tracks, yan.
Yan.
Iba. Dapat yata sa isang private private conference yun. Hindi pwede sa natin. Dahil maraming anyway, so final words again, ihuli natin yung speaker Engels dito for our audience again. Any last words before we close the show?
Go ahead, Engels.
Go ahead. Yeah. Sige, thanks Lito. Ano lang, again, masterful presentation, Abet. Thank you so much. Ang ganda po ng fundamentals, importante kasi yung foundations eh. Actually, kaya nakakatuwa po itong ginagawa natin kasi 101, 102. We're really building strong foundations. Kasi pag nakuha po ninyo yan, kahit magbago ang mundo, magigets pa rin natin yung cybersecurity, no? And also thank you, Abet, dun sa common lexicon. Importante kasi sobrang daming buzzwords ngayon sa cybersecurity, pero clarify mo siya. It was actually very distilled, no? Yung presentation. So, please keep tuning in, no? Talagang ito papatikim pa lang po itong 101 tsaka 102. Yung leadership po na Cybersecurity for Leaders ni Lito. Antabayanan po natin yan. Tsaka shout out lang pala ha. Ito na naman po ang mga kaibigan natin sa PNP tsaka sa Army. Kumusta pa uli kayo?
Okay. Magandang gabi po. Thank you for staying with us. So, iba sa kanila nagbiyahe, no? Engels.
Naka-cellphone lang, naka-cellphone.
Sorry, hindi namin kayo nag-greet kayo, but i-guest namin kayo dito para mas masaya. Yun ang Yeah, Lito, yung huling kay Abet as our speaker tonight. Comment lang, your last word.
As usual, no? Information, lalo na lalo na sa panahon ng pandemya. Napakaraming scams, napakaraming COVID-19 themed attacks, no? So that we should be aware of. Okay? And these practical tips na pinagdaanan natin sa 101 ni Engels, sa 102 ni Abet ngayon, marami diyang tips na pwede nating i-practice. We have to start practicing from our end. Kasi nga, sinabi ni Abet kanina, dati may perimeter, alam natin, nasa loob ng yung data center, 4 walls. Tapos
nahala tayo matanda.
Tapos nung gumamit na ng dito mga networking and software, lumabas na sa data center yung terminals o yung workstations. Nung pumasok yung internet, nasa labas na ng building, di ba, yung connectivity. Ngayon, nakarating na sa bahay kasi nga yung sa pandemya. Okay? So, kailangan mag-ingat tayo dyan. Kailangan matutunan natin itong mga tips na ibinigay na ni Engels at saka ni Abet. So, here's to a secure, computing or secure access to the internet.
Yeah, thank you, Godfather Lito. Abria, yan, Godfather of Cybersecurity. Talagang panindigan na natin yan. Our speaker tonight, Abet, your last words for the evening.
Ay, thank you for having me. Salamat po sa pagtiyaga ng isang session. I know, medyo grueling. Kaya po nagtatlong kape ko para hindi bumaba yung energy level ko. Kasi I know, from experience, mahirap talaga pag bumaba rin yung energy ni speaker, nawawalang gana rin mga. Pero again, salamat po ulit. And this is our own little way to help spread the awareness, information security, and data privacy. Sana po may napulot kayo. Yung mga definition po, natatawa ko doon sa sinabi ni Engels. Kasi marami kaming nakakabangga na, na personalities na, hindi, iba tong ganito sa ganito. So it's our pet peeve na, dinefine na nga ng NIST, di ba? Dinefine na nga, yan na nga yung definition, bibigyan mo pa ng ibang meaning. Kaya siguro dahil hindi maganda yung foundation niya,
mukhang alam ko kasi tinutukoy mo.
That's why gusto namin bigay yung tamang foundation to all of you. Tama si Engels, when you have the right foundation, when you build something on top of it, madali na. Okay, so but mahalaga rin na tama yung foundation mo, hindi just a foundation. So if you build on the right foundation, then all things will fall into place. Ika nga. So yun lang po. Huwag kayong magsawang manood. Hindi rin kami magsasawang mag-discuss, mag-explain. Also po, kung any topics that you want to discuss, di ba Sam, pwede naman na lang i-suggest.
Oh, definitely. Oh, mag-post lang kayo dito sa sa replays. At the same time, yun, magpadala kayo ng email both sa NADPOP saka sa PH-CERT, no. Abet, dito, Engels, marami din nanonood sa atin ng mga estudyante ngayon, di ba? So maganda na if they want to pursue a career in cybersecurity and data privacy, stay tuned dito. So, yun ang inspire natin sila para mag-pursue na career. Kasi hindi na natin kailangan na masyadong maraming abogado, di ba? Saka nang kailangan natin maraming technical people talaga para umangat ang again, yung engineers, ito tawag na STEM, so yung discipline na yung kailangan natin paangatin pa sa Pilipinas. Okay?
Tsaka nga pala, banggitin ko din, yung isang goal nga ng InfoSec lecture series, we realize that there are very few certified information security professionals dito sa atin. Di ba? Less than 150 yata.
Marami Tulites, kaya lang 90% nasa abroad.
Exactly.
Magpalakas sweldo di ba?
And well, through that lecture series, we hope to double the number of na ma-certify. So yan yung isang goal. And then banggitin ko din lang, may project din akong tinatrabaho, yung capacity building on cybersecurity. So we have to upgrade the skills and develop skills, pwede ko ibigay yung details pag-usapan natin kasi naghahanap ako ng mga schools din na willing to sponsor yung mga pilot projects namin sa cybersecurity education.
Meron tayong nilulutong partnership with an educational institution dito with NADPOP. So yun, pag-usapan natin offline, yan na, paparating. Uy, meron huling mensahe sa atin ang ating kaibigan si Arnel Celis. Thanks to all your sacrifices to spread awareness. Yan. Alam ni Arnel yan, yung mga misis natin ang magsasakripisyo actually. Nihintay tayo ng dinner tayo. Arnel, looking forward to have you here also as a guest. Marami rin karanasan niya si Arnel sa kanyang career sa tech. Okay? Okay, wala na ba gentlemen? So, handa tayo next week, kailangan paghandaan natin yung talk ni ni Godfather Lito Aperia, Abet Engels, di ba? So,
simple lang yan.
Hopefully maka-join din si Tito saka si Arnie, our other co-host dito sa show. And yan, dumadami na tayo. Kaya po marami kaming host kasi minsan absent kami. So, yung kaya po yun.
Maraming tagasalo.
Maraming tagasalo po ng content. Mahirap po kung mag-isa na lang matira dito kakanta na lang ng video ko yan. Kaya yun. Okay,
kaya ni Sam yun.
Saka, ibang show natin yun, Abet. Ibang show natin. Meron tayo, di ba? Meron pa tayo binubong isa. Dito rin sa BounceBack Network natin gagawin. In fact, ito po, nag-launch tayo ng bagong show, yung blockchain naman. So, Blockchain for Entrepreneurs. It happens every Tuesday. Nagkaroon ng test episode. Kasama ko si James Sinove and Sly Sylvester ng Althash University. Testing lang yon. Dito sa we talk about 101 ng what the hell is blockchain? Okay? Si Fermin ang aming guest, ang hirap i-pronounce ang surname. This Tuesday naman, what the hell is cryptocurrency? So talagang tinutulungan natin yung ating mga BounceBack members on how to use technology to further improve their business. And meron na tayong long-running ngayon, business show, yung Global Entrepreneurship in partnership naman with Global Chamber, Colin Christie and Dishan Maharaj of Business Enabling Tool. Yon on 7th episode na sa Wednesday. So humahabol tayo sa kanila. Well, technically, 5th episode natin to di ba? But officially, this is the 2nd episode. Kasi we had 3 test episodes. Hinintay talaga natin na magkaroon ng stable internet connection ng ating kaibigan. Hindi po. Kasi talaga, this show is really Poyolito. Kaya, Abet, go ahead.
Sam, mahal na yung subscription ni dito. Sisingilin ka na niya ng talent fee.
Grabe, tumaas na. So yung mga kaibigan namin na gusto mag-sponsor ng segment,
baka naman.
Donation lang kailangan namin. Not for profit naman pareho yung institutions natin dito So kaya yan.
Pambayad lang ng internet connection.
Oo nga, grabe. Dito dahil mong ginastos, pati yung linesman yata, sabi mo, baka pinaputol mo yung linya ng kapitbahay mo, pinalipat na kayo.
Tama. Napasin mo bago yung headphone.
Oo nga, tama. Naghahanda talaga. Naghahanda.
Matagal na to. Pero naghahanap ako ng magandang microphone, 5,000.
Kailangan talaga ng sponsor ng microphone ni Tito Aberia.
Yaman na po, mga viewers.
Yan. Mag-donate naman po kayo para magkaroon ng magandang microphone ng ating kaibigan si Tito Aberia. Okay? Magdala na kayo ng Patreon nyo para pwede sila mag-donate directly. Hirap ng buhay, di ba ngayon? Tama.
Okay lang, para sa bayan, bro.
Ito may isa ko napansin talaga. Ba't mas maraming lalaki sa cybersecurity kaysa
female? Kailangan nating i-correct yan. No? So, alam mo na, gender equality, we also need to give the same opportunities, of course. Yeah.
Pero alam ko, naturally kasi, mas mabusisi ang babae, di ba? Kaya mas perfect sa kanila na role na to.
Oo, magagaling.
Saka alam nila kung saan nyo tinatago yung mga tinatago nyo, di ba? So, madali na hanapin yung mga yan, yung mga malya. Sorry, Afay.
Yun na nga. Every time na tinatanong ko si Abet kasi pag kami, katulad nitong upcoming project ko, Abet, meron ka bang kakilalang lady practitioner sa cybersecurity? Marati kong tinatanong si Abet.
Baka we can work in a program for di ba? Kasi merong Geek Girls, mga program na gano'n talaga for really focusing on bringing females to STEM, no? So
napansin ko lang, Sam, pag information security audit, magagaling yung mga babae.
Yeah.
Auditor, sa InfoSec audit, ang galing.
Yun. Alam naman natin kung bakit, di ba? Sakto. Kailangan talaga i-audit naman talaga yung mga lalaki, di ba?
Born auditor.
Baka meron kilala si Arnie na isang cybersecurity specialist na female who can give us the perspective naman of women on cybersecurity. Di ba? So maganda rin yan. Kasi 70% ng members ng BounceBack Network, female entrepreneurs.
Ay, talaga?
So, yes, mataas. Yung ating education group sa BounceBack, 80% females. So, gano'n yung marami tayong members, female members dito sa BounceBack Network. Kaya yan. Okay, gentlemen, maraming salamat again. This is our second official episode, but the fifth episode of Privacy Fridays and BounceBack Cybersecurity. See us again. Next week, Dito Aberia is going to discuss cybersecurity for leaders. Tama-tama, Cybersecurity 103. Ito pong mga teachings na to, we're actually going to upload them to a learning management system para pwede yung balikan. And then you can take an exam and you can get a certification brought to you by NADPOP, PH-CERT, of course, BounceBack Network. Muli po ako kasama ko ang ating co-host ngayon, Engels Antonio, Dito Aberia, and of course, our speaker for the night, Abet Dela Cruz. Woohoo! Matindi ang binili mo ngayon, Abet. Salamat. Proud sa iyo ang kapatid mo doon sa kabilang network. Running joke po. Kung hindi nyo pansin po, hindi po younger brother, actually. Youngest brother, di ba? Bata. Batiin natin sila.
Yung tao ba o yung puppet?
Yung puppet yung bunso nyo, di ba? Okay, salamat. Magandang gabi po. Again, mga ka-BounceBack, saka mga ka-NADPOP at PH-CERT. See you again next week for Privacy Fridays and FightBack Cybersecurity. Maraming salamat po. Magandang gabi.